Boom, let's talk a little shop today. Today on the agenda, scroll saw. Let's go over personal and safety rules first. Let's make sure sleeves are rolled up, hair is pulled back, glasses are on, no questions asked. Let's get to work. On today's agenda is our scroll saw, often called a jigsaw. Its nickname is the jigsaw. I'm gonna go ahead and try to zoom in here so we can see a little closer. We have a couple different types of scroll saws or jigsaws here. We have a Dremel and we have the DeWalt's. Either one will work just fine. Let's talk about the tool itself. First, let's look at the table. The table is 360 degrees. The table does not move. Little tiny blade here, blade with the teeth pointed down. The way this machine works is it reciprocates back and forth, so it cuts on the way down, releases, cuts and releases, but it does that really, really fast. When it does that, we do get some vibration. So in order to stop that vibration, we try to use these little fingers to help us hold the material down. Our hands are always on either side of the material at all times. We never cut from behind. We never want to lunge or push our fingers into the blade. Even though it's small, it's still going to cut your fingers. So we got to be careful. It gets its name from the way that it cuts, so it scrolls around the cut, or often called a jigsaw, because if you look closely, you'll see these things that look like a jigsaw puzzle. It can make those really rounded, curved cuts. So that's kind of what it does. Let's talk about setting the machine up. Anytime that we have any tool, we always have to have setup. Meaning when we step in front of it, what do we have to do? So this material is pretty easy. So we're going to go ahead and set this up by setting this right next to the blade. We're going to go ahead and loosen this up a little bit, and we're going to slide this down on the material so it can help us hold it down. You may ask what this little goofy thing is here. This is going to blow on the blade or on the surface. It's going to actually blow the dust away from our cut so we can continue to see our line, because that's pretty easy and will happen pretty quickly. So we have a variable speed scroll saw, meaning we can have it go really, really slow, or we can have it go really, really fast. In this case, we have really thin material, so we can go slow and we can speed it up when we feel like we're not making any progress. Most importantly, anytime you hear me talk about the tools, you're going to hear me say you may only cut, right? It's only going to allow you to cut at a certain speed. The machines have a job to do, right? They're going to do whatever you have them do, but if you go too fast, you push too hard, bad things are going to happen. And so we want to try to avoid that from happening. So our setup is going to look just like this. We got the material right next to the blade. So we have it all set up. We have the fingers set up. We have the on and off switch up here at the top. We have the air blowing down on our cut. So we're ready to go. Variable speed, meaning we can go slow and fast, both. So we're going to go somewhere in the middle to kind of start, and then we'll adjust it if we need to. I'm just going to make a really curved cut here just to show you what we mean when we talk about curve. So I'm going to turn the material because the table doesn't move. I'm just going to turn the material. Notice I have my hands on the material at all times, holding it down. Because if we don't, it will kind of bounce up like that. That's what we don't want. All right, so there's that curved cut we have. In this case, we're gonna actually cut our surfboard. We're gonna cut this angle on the front. So this is actually pretty easy. We're actually gonna start up here in the front. We're gonna cut right down that line, just like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that by starting here. Notice I'm really barely pushing on it. I'm really letting the machine do all the work, and I'm just guiding the material where I want it to go. All right, I never want to grab that material out of there. I'm going to just push it out of the way so I'm not putting my hands anywhere near. I'm going to make sure it gets thrown in the scrap bin. I'm going to turn the machine off and then clean off anything that we need to do, and we're going to obviously have to cut off all of these sides, and then we'll go ahead and sand it. All right, so this is the scroll saw, often called the jigsaw. Variable speed, fast and slow. Table's 360 degrees, teeth are pointed down. All right, we will use this in class probably this week. Today's video is brought to you by Ghost Energy, right? 0 sugar, 5 calories. Highly recommend for today's sponsor. All right, thank you very much.